What's up, internet families and friends? Yes, I have a hat today. We're still in quarantine here in Canada, and my hair are really something else, so this is the reason why. But this is not the reason why I made this video today. I've recently discovered a sidechain technique which really helps me get my mix even louder and cleaner, and I thought I'm gonna share it with my community on YouTube, because I love you guys, and I know you deserve it. So today we're really gonna go in depth on how to set up your sidechain, what to look for when you're sidechaining, the kick, sub, and top of your mix. We're also gonna analyze the waveform of the whole track and also reference with other tracks. Before we start, make sure you click that like and subscribe button because you know it really helps me get the channel going. And with that out of the way, let's jump into it.
History deleted.
Alright, so let's take a listen to the song we're going to be working with today. Alright, so I don't want to spoil the song too much because I'm going to be releasing this later this year. But let's take a look at my reference track. So I often reference Skrille's Mixdown because they're just awesome. And what can we see at first sight? Well, right here, we can see that he has a kick. And around this area, the bass or the sub bass is coming through with the top of his drop. Okay, let's check out another one. What can we see? Same thing, the kick is coming through right here. And around this area, the top of the drop and the sub is coming through. And I know that because a kick has a lot of low end, right? So around this area, it's the kick is still playing, and as you can see right here, the waveform is changing. Excuse me, the waveform is changing because it has a lot of harmonics coming through. Okay, and let's take another look at another track. We have Company right here. So we have let me just align that. So the kick is starting right over here. It has a lot of top information at the beginning, and right here is the low end of the kick, and around this area the kick has fade out and it's the sub bass and top of the drop which is playing. So what can we learn from this? Well, we can see that a lot of the kicks from your favorite artist are actually really small, and when I mean small, I mean, let's find out. Let's copy this at the start of the song. Right here. And if you look down at Ableton, you can see that it's actually like 40 milliseconds. Maybe just a little bit longer, maybe 60 or 70, but something like that. So the kick, like you're used to see them, they're probably like fading out like this, right? It's mainly around like 40 to 60 seconds, and then the other sounds are coming through. Okay, so this is really, really important. This is the first step in learning how to properly sidechain your mix to get a really, really loud sound and a clean sound. Okay, so what did I do for my kick? I shortened it to 90 milliseconds. Okay, and then I put this loop right here at the top so it doesn't like fade out this way. Okay, so it's not gonna go like this in a triangle shape. It's gonna go full on this and then it's gonna cut. Okay, right about here. So if we take a look at my kick right now, let me put out an LFO tool and let's analyze the kick. I said analyze. Okay, so as you can see, it's still fading out a little bit like this, but this is okay. The second step to this sidechaining process is to send all of your tracks, which are not drums, to the same bus, okay? So all of my tracks from my FX, my sub, and my drop are going through different buses, which has different process, and then they're going to this pre-master, and let's call this pre plus sidechain, okay? What did I do next? I put an EQ just to shape the sound a little bit, and I put a limiter. So when I play the song, all my effects, all my sub, and all my top basses are gonna be like a big sausage. And what we want to do is to actually sidechain this big sausage to the kick of the song, right? So what would I do in this case? I would take an LFO tool. Let me just turn that off for now. Okay. I would grab an LFO tool, drop it on this sausage pre-master channel. And what you want to do is you can click here, scope, to see the sidechain going, to see the waveform, excuse me. Cool. Next, we want to click here on the MIDI box right here. Click on Note Retrigger twice. So we're going to trigger the envelope from a MIDI signal, okay? Right here, I've created a MIDI track. So you can do that by clicking Command or Control Shift T. I'm going to do it with you. It's going to be easier, I think, to follow. Let's drag an external instrument. I said instrument. Yeah. Right here. Let's assign it to the sausage bus. So the pre and sidechain. And we're going to select the last LFO tool I put on the channel. So this LFO tool. Next, we're gonna copy all the MIDI information of the kick to this MIDI kick channel. So right now, this MIDI channel, which follow the MIDI of the kick, right, is gonna trigger this envelope of the LFO tool. Okay, so this is really important. So we're gonna create an envelope to sidechain the kick, okay? The thing with LFO tool though is that when you start your envelope at the bottom of the LFO right there, it's gonna create some clicks, and you don't want that. So what we want to do is to actually create this shape. So when the MIDI plays, it's gonna take just a few milliseconds before the sound actually drops down. So to rectify this problem, we want to move this MIDI channel, and let me make this one big loop. So we want to move this MIDI channel just a bit to the left, okay? So since we just moved the MIDI to the left, it's gonna take a few milliseconds to get down to the lowest point, right? And this is okay because we're gonna pinpoint exactly where we want the sound at minus infinite dB, okay? So as you can see, it's exactly what I did here on this MIDI channel. I've moved it just a touch, and I've synced the LFO to be just as long as this. Does it make sense? Let me actually do it for you. Okay? So we're gonna do this together. Let me turn that back off. Let me turn that off. And right now, we have this playing maybe a quarter. So let's try this way. And something you can do to see if you're actually dropping all the level downs to this exact point is to create an audio track. And we're gonna route this sausage group to this audio track. And we're gonna hit record. Okay, so as you can see, I still have some information right here, and this is still playing. So let's drag. Oh, wait. Let's leave that here. Let's put that right there. And boom. No sound. Okay? So this is step one. Step two, of course, you can split your band so you can have a different LFO for the top and for the sub. This is what I did in this track, and I really recommend you to do that. In Ableton, what's great is that you can download this invisible band splitter, and you can assign the mid and the high end of the song. You can choose the frequency band and create something else for the sub. So as you can see, the sub is coming, I think, a bit faster. Yeah, it's coming a bit faster than the top of the basses and the effects and all that. Okay, so let me turn that off right now. Let me delete this. If you want to put 2 LFOs on this bus, all you have to do is to create right here on the sidechain. It's an external instrument rack. So I have 2 external instruments, and they're both going to the pre and sidechain bus, but they're going to different LFOs. So this one is going to, oh, I'm pointing with my fingers. That's so dumb. This one is going to the sidechain sub, and this one is going to the sidechain top. Okay? So at this point, it's nothing like fancy, right? You've already seen that, but the next step is actually really important. So I've also put an LFO on the kick just to analyze a waveform. And let me put that on the kick clap. Oh, I already had one. So let me play the kick. So we can see the kick right here. And what did I do? I actually took the sub right here, and I've matched the LFO to drop exactly when the kick is playing, right? And to rise up exactly when the kick is fading out. And what we're gonna need to make this process as perfect as we can is 1 LFO tool on the kick, 1 LFO tool on the pre or sidechain bus right here on the low end, or on the whole mix, it doesn't matter. And 1 on the master. And I'm gonna show you why, okay? So this is the LFO on the kick. I hope you can see it. Wait, let me... yeah, I'm gonna put this one right here, this one right here, and this one right here so we can see it. So this one is gonna be the kick, this one is gonna be the sub, and this is a master track. Okay, so let me play this. Look at the master. If I would have moved this LFO of on the sub just a tiny bit, look at the difference. You can see right here, we have a spike. And let me put that after the utility, so you guys can see. Okay, look at this spike right here. And check if I move this just a tiny bit to the left. This spike is gonna cause problem in the mastering because we're gonna have too much low information, and it's gonna push your limiter too far, and it's gonna create some distortion and a non-pleasant sound to your final mixdown. So I'm gonna increase the I'm gonna actually decrease the LFO so you can see a little bit more. See right there? And also what this does, you can see in the spectrum analyzer. What it does is actually when the kick is playing with the sub is gonna be really louder, but when the sub is playing alone, it's gonna be quieter. And what we want is a constant sub, right? We don't want some big spikes and like quieter sub frequencies in our mix. And we can check also if I put it too much to the right, this LFO on the sub bass, we have a gap right here. And this gap is actually gonna, it's not bad, it's just that at this moment we're gonna have less volume, so your overall, I can't talk today. So your overall mix down is gonna be quieter at that part, and we really want to maximize the loudness of our track. So we always want like a big just a big waveform, a full, beautiful waveform, right? Also, something you can see is that the end of this kick with the sub with this sidechain is probably causing some phase cancellation. You can see that because the waveform didn't go all through the way down and it came up. So if I put it, if I put the sidechain of the sub just a tiny bit to the left, as it was, see right here, it's still not perfect. So let's move that. This is starting to look way better. Now we can see we have a peak, so let's move that back. Still have a peak. And I think this is perfect. So same principle for the top of the drop. Let me show you. So this is the top of the sidechain. Let me solo that. And let me solo the kick. So as you guys can see, there's absolutely no sound when the kick is playing from the top of the drop. All right, so I think this is it. One last thing I want to show you is what my track looks like before going through the master, okay? So as you can see, I have almost no peak. I don't have like, when the kick is playing, I don't have like huge gap. I still have some because of the clap. So when the claps are playing, they start, as you can see right here, they start just before the kick. So I have some clap sound with the top of the drop. So this is why I still have some peaks right there. But beside that, it's pretty much like already like a big sausage, right? So at this point, all I have to do is actually put a limiter and make this louder. As you can see, I put like some EQ and just some slight compression. And I've also put some compression for the low end because I just want to squish it a little bit more. But yeah, that's about it. So let me show you the limiter right now. As you can see, the first limiter is doing like 2 dB of gain reduction. And the next one is doing also 2 dB, and that's it. So let me close that. So at this point in the song, my mix is all done. I know that everything is gonna be super clear, and I can really squash the waveform to get this. And by doing this, it helps me get a really loud mixdown. Alright, so that's it for today. I hope it helps some of you clear things up. If you have any question, please write them down in the comment section, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.